then you would see people up in arms. You would see people taking over the government. But right now, it's happening to fringes. The fringes that people like to sweep under the rug anyway, and they don't want to see. So you know what? It's happening to them. That's okay. But the point is, every time we allow the government to do something to small splinter groups, that means when my group becomes the splinter group, they're going to do it to me too. And we're all, in some view, in some group, in some belief, in a small segment of people that could at some point in time be the topic of what's being protested or what's being taken away. It's, if we're allowing our government to turn government provocateurs against people who are just trying to use their voice, it could happen to anyone if it could happen to that group of people.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Mrs. Balderson. Are these groups, or would you agree that these groups are self-advocated to be those groups that are causing the violence?
No. They're funded. They're organized and they're funded.
Okay, well, is $250 worth a criminal record to you?
To me, no. But I'm not their target. You know, we all have different prices. We all have different needs. For some people who just want to live a very specific lifestyle, $250, you're going to take me somewhere and I get to misbehave all day? Awesome.
Okay, and I will correlate that to the mob mentality.
Yes, I will correlate that to people putting experimental medications in their bodies for a Krispy Kreme donut, which we saw happen lots in 2020.
Well, yes, that's absolutely true, Ben. I don't disagree. But I take it back to the mob mentality, or the mental, maybe the mentally ill, and maybe they want to go for steak and lobster that night, right?
Maybe if they go to jail that night, they've already been promised they'll get bailed out. Plus, they're getting 3 hots in a cot. And maybe they weren't going to be sleeping in a bed tonight. And maybe they don't care about being in jail. Maybe they just really don't care.
Right. Well, I mean, like us on this panel care if we're in jail, right?
Absolutely.
So I say this. It's irritating for me to think, and I've given it a lot of thought after watching all this for the last year, 2 years, whatever it's been, right? Why are so many that may or may not be paid to be there so willing to go to jail or have a criminal record? I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, nurses, priests, ministers. They're so willing to go and get arrested and have a criminal record over something that they may or may not be able to control or help a cause to control.
Okay, so I think that you just separated a totally different category. I think the people that you're talking about are not there as paid protesters. Those are people with giant hearts who have had their heartstrings tugged upon, and they feel in their hearts and their heads that what they're doing is they're fighting for a just cause. And just causes are meant to stir you. They are meant to rouse you to action. And that's the point, is that at some point in time, each of us has that thing inside of us that rises, that makes us want to rise to action, that says, that's enough. My line is here and you have crossed that line. And for people who are in like extremely successful professions to be willing to put it all on the line for something, that tells you that they believe that that the government has crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed.
Okay.
They are willing to put their livelihoods on the line because in their minds and their hearts, this is a step too far.
Okay.
And
so hold on. Let me stop you for 1 second. What I don't believe that they are thinking of, Mrs. Balderson, is you're not going to be in jail forever. You're not going to be, they're not thinking of the long-term effects because we need money to live in this world. If
Okay,
you
so
are
most people-
unable to use your license, and I'm saying a licensed individual like myself, if I cannot use my license to support my family, is
Because
flipping
you're
burgers at
not-
McDonald's going to pay my bills?
You know
No.
what? But you're okay. You're right, and you're talking about a very real situation. But what you're missing is the whole point, which is that for using your First Amendment right, you lose the ability to practice your profession. The system is fucking broken.
I
The
agree
system
with
is
that. I'm not
fucking
saying that
broken.
it's not.
You should be willing to stand up to change that because it's fucked up. That
is.
you standing up and saying something that you believe is a total game changer for all America, and you standing up and saying, you know what, I think this is wrong, and you could lose your professional license over you standing up for what you believe is morally right and wrong, that's fucked up. And you going, let me kiss your boot, government, is even more fucked up. I'll do whatever's right because it's what the government said. That's the problem. That's why change never happens, because we're willing to say, but there's a rule against that. Even if the rule is unjust, we're still going to follow the rule. We're still going to follow the rule. We're still going to follow the rule. And you're adding more and more rules, and you're narrowing the channel of acceptable behavior down and down and down and down and down until nobody fits within that narrow rule of law anymore. And you're saying, just tell me where to walk. Just tell me where to walk. Stop asking for permission about where you can walk, and walk where your free ass knows it needs to go.
I agree, and we are getting raided over on Rumble from Handy News. Welcome in, Raiders. We much appreciate you for coming in. Let's see if we get it over on Pilled. That would be a double-barreled raid over on Pilled from the Handy News Network. Anyway, I apologize, Mrs. Balderson.
Hey, Spade, can I say something real quick to Cameron? Because he just said some crazy stuff. Cameron said that Kamala and Biden never said they wanted to take away your first and second. He claimed
Yes,
he
they
literally
did.
just checked it. Yeah, you need to check that shit again, bro. You need to check it again, bro. You just,
And
I
we're
got-
getting that raid over on pilled.net, another double-barreled raid.
oh
From the Handy News Network. Welcome in, Raiders. We
Hey,
much appreciate you.
Boulderson, it was nice meeting your wife. She seems as intelligent as you are. That sounds like a condescending statement. It's really not. I generally mean that statement.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, no, sometimes I can come off condescending because I'm told I have a very mellow tone about me. So when I said it out loud, it kind of sounded condescending. But no, I generally mean that. It's like the discussion me, you, and Sandra were having last night when I was confused in certain aspects of Norway and the Germanic tribes and all that. I got to look that dude up you gave me. But I just want to say two things real quick. So I think we are at a disagreement with what's the right cause for violence.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
That
which is
the
essentially
point, Kraut.
yeah, it is essentially a revolution at that point. Now, I'll give an example of how it can be justified, and I'm for this today, and I think everybody would be. One of the reasons we fought the British is for taxation. We are taxed up the fucking wazoo. Now, if a movement started for protests to stop all the fucking taxes, and we're well aware it can lead into violent change, I'm for that. I don't think a lot of people would disagree with that. But like you said, Boulder, like I just stated, I think the disagreement with the protest for illegal immigrants or immigrants overstayed their visa, I think that's what a disconnect is.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get Spin to put himself and understand, and he keeps missing it because I can see he's missing it because he just got done saying, why would a doctor risk their license? Well, if you felt so strongly about a cause that, let's say, the cause again was during the Biden administration, let's say that had come to fruition and every child was now forced. It wasn't even just an option in the library because we got to amp it up. like everybody else does. And fucking now the children, as part of their curriculum, have to read some of these books. And you as a parent feel so strongly about your child being exposed to transsexual agenda that you won't take it. And the school still fucking does it. You would be there with a problem. So now I don't understand why you don't take it where Kraut just did and understand these other people feel this same way. It's just not the same problem. You don't care about their problem, but guess what? They didn't care about your problem when the Republican side was complaining about the school board meetings being treated like fucking terrorist watch zones.
Yeah, I mean, there are problems. There's problems with the system. I don't think anybody would agree or would not agree. I apologize. But at the end of the day, there are ways to handle it.
Well, I would say none of us citizens would disagree with you. I would say the elite class at the top, they're loving how this shit runs.
I think
Yeah.
there might be a way to combat this, and I might be wrong, but think of it. I think all three of us are well aware of how collective bargains agreements happen at a union job, where if they don't like the outcome, they all go on strike, and then people can't buy their food at that grocery store, or the building doesn't get finished. And now that company that had the fucking airport or the ShopRite grocery store ain't making money. So now they are forced to come up with a better collective bargaining agreement for the workers, and then they can open the doors again. The workers are there to help out. I don't know if that can correlate to the government. No,
it correlates very well. That's just that's a protest that those workers did, saying we won't work under these conditions, and you won't make money, and fucking that. But in that protest situation, the workers always had some kind of leverage. The problem with our country is unless we get enough people for a singular cause, individually and even in small groups, and Spin's been talking about this all night, and he's not wrong, that they don't have that particular leverage.
Yeah, we as a people got to come together.
Well, I mean, and we do. We both sides of the aisle. We don't
because of wedge politics.
All sides of the aisle need to come together and create a resolution that fits all sides of the aisle.
Yes. But the thing is the important things in our life, we don't get to talk about because everything's wedge politics and has been since the 1980s.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
What exactly does that mean? Wedge politics, is that like very decisive shit that people can't agree on? What exactly does that mean?
So what wedge politics is they take a topic like abortion. Whether abortion is legal or illegal, it's for most of the country, it's not going to have any effect. The very small percentage of people ever get an abortion.
So there's no coming together to stop and fight against.
Well, so what? Instead of talking about an issue like the government overtaxing us, they throw out an issue like abortion, and now half the country is very pro-abortion, half the country is very anti-abortion, and so now because this has an emotional appeal, it wedges the country in half, and they will continue, and there's never going to be an answer to that. There's never going to be an answer. You're always going to have this divide. They're not going to come to any kind of agreement that they agree with. And they're just going to keep bickering about something that affects a very small, minute portion of people in all reality. Where if we were instead arguing about the overwhelming portion of taxing that we're getting, whether it's income tax, property tax, gas tax, sales tax, luxury tax, inheritance tax, like there's that same fucking dollar by the time the government's done peeling their piece off. You're lucky if you have a fucking nickel. And rather than working toward that, they keep us pointed towards wedge politics, which don't really have any meaning. And actually, the even better example is the immigration example.
Sure.
But
Sure.
no matter what happens, Trump flat said, these immigrants are staying. I found out they're working with my friends and all this. They get to stay. I'm not even deporting. He's deported less people than presidents before him.
Obama
So
deported most.
yes. So it was the immigration thing real. We spent a bunch of money on it. We gave the government a bunch of extra power on it. We grew an agency on it, but the actual effect that we would want it to have did not happen. So guess what? Now, next presidency, that same problem's still going to exist. And next presidency, that same problem's still going to exist. The same as it has the last 5, 6, 7, 8 presidencies. And what it does is it keeps the American public fighting about that thing. And then the things that we should care about, like fucking having good jobs, bringing fucking manufacturing back to our country so the middle class comes back. Infrastructure. We all hate the roads. We all hate the rolling blackouts. The infrastructure is not just the roads, it's the electrical, it's your plumbing. We are so far past where we needed to overhaul the whole system on infrastructure. It's not even funny. And we don't talk about it. Why? Because we're too fucking busy talking about immigrations and nothing's even happening. Nothing's even happening. It's just a bullshit argument.
I agree. I just, I mean, George Hall says Trump is detaining them for profit.
I don't know that he's personally profiting from it, but I can definitely say that some of these are probably, if they are going to a private prison, he very well could be friends with some of these private prison owners who are benefiting from it, and then he gets kickbacks down the line. This is how all government fucking works. These people. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll agree with that statement for the sake of the argument, but in the same token, cops and jails, they benefit from locking criminals up. So even though I agree with that statement, the commenter just made, I think that it's redundant because all governments benefit.
No, the cop doesn't benefit in the same way.
Maybe the jails do. That's why I added jails as well.
But typically, so this is part of the argument against private prisons. So this is where you end up with things like, you remember when at the end of Biden's administration, one of the most despicable things he did was in his pardons, he released some real nasty people like the Kids for Cash judge. So there was private prisons in that state. The judge was sending kids to prison that shouldn't have went to prison. And then the prison was kicking back money to the judge because now the prison's getting money from the state. He kicks it back to the judge. It's a nice little system, where he gets paid to lock up youth that don't deserve to be locked up and gets money for it. That guy got busted. That happens a lot in this country. They just don't get busted. That guy got busted. Biden released him. But this is the whole system that we're talking about, where because of the profits that are made by the people in charge, and they don't care about you, dude. Do you think that any of these elites, Republican or fucking Democrat, give a fuck about you?
Oh no, not at all. But if what they say aligns with my beliefs, I said before, Ben, I'm not in the assumption fucking Trump cares about me. I'm under the assumption he wants to benefit himself. But you got to take the lesser evil, and if his benefits,
again, this is where I have a problem, Kraut. I'm not a lesser evil guy. You're still working with evil. Like, how do you guys not understand that? A shit sandwich that in a turd sandwich, and you're like, oh, this turd sandwich isn't quite as rank. I'm going to take that one. Maybe we're America. Maybe we don't let the RNC and the DNC run our fucking country.
Well, I agree with you. Well, I was going to say, if he benefits from America, but him being in office also benefits me more than a Democratic president would benefit my country. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I vote the way I vote. I mean, I was telling Sandy yesterday, I don't really vote. I mean, I vote partially in economics, but at the end of the day, you can always make more money. But if I feel like there's, somebody trying to get into office that are generally trying to take away my rights, I'm gonna vote against that person. And the system is far from perfect. I wish I had all the answers, and I wish I knew all the ins and outs of it. I guess saying taking the lesser of the evil is a wrong way to say it.
No,
And,
it's the exact correct way to say it. It's just uncomfortable that when somebody points out that you're still evil, you're still voting evil in, and that's uncomfortable. But you said it correctly.
True.
Like you know that Trump is not a great person. You wouldn't let that dude watch your kids, would you?
No, I don't. One of the people out there watching my kids is my wife's
No,
grandparents.
you wouldn't let that dude watch your kids. You
Nobody
wouldn't.
watching my kids.
You don't try, or any politician. These are bad people, and we've put them above us, and they think that they're better than us. The whole group of them, they all get ultra rich. Both sides. Every fucking government, every fucking senator, every president, they're all filthy rich. And they don't give a shit about you. And the problem with what Spin's saying is you know the only protest that really made a difference ever was when when that governor over on the East Coast said, we're going door to door and taking your guns. And the about 100,000 dudes with guns showed up on the Capitol steps, and that governor went, never mind. I was joking about that. I did not mean it. I was drunk that day. Somebody made an AI video of me. I don't know, but I'm not down with this no more. That's the only protest that's ever functionally worked. Whereas opposed to the Occupy Wall Street demonstrations, where those kids literally sat on their hands, on their knees, with their hands under their butts. And there's videos of cops just walking along, just hosing their faces with pepper spray, just hosing it as those kids sat on their hands, being as peaceful as possible.
And by the way, guys, just wanted to point out that there was a massive surge in identity politics pushed by multi-billion-dollar companies as Occupy Wall Street happened.
Yeah, that's the new name for wedge. That's the new name for wedge politics, brother, is identity politics. Because like with the abortion example, half the people in the country are like, but this is my body. This is my choice to do what I want to do, and you don't get to interfere with it. And the other half of the country is identifying with, well, that's a child. I will do everything I can to protect a child. So this is an identity that you're holding, that it's not just a political thing like, oh, am I against jaywalking or for jaywalking, where it's not really tied to you as a person. So wedge politics by nature have to be something you personally identify with and have very strong feelings about, because those are the only things that are going to keep you from looking at the more important things that the government's doing behind the scenes while you're arguing about that.
And that's that euphemisms and manipulation I was talking about earlier, the semantic manipulation, where we use different words to describe the same things we used to, but it changes your mindset. You think it's a little bit better now. That's your wedge politics, like you were talking about with the abortion earlier. That's just a minor portion of the population. If you really want to talk about something that affects everybody, let's talk about that normalization of identity, where you got to carry your
that's
paper.
What's going to happen when we?
No, that's already happened.
When America's
that's already happened.
Individualism.
That's already happened. In order to do anything in society, you need an ID. Now they're changing it to the digital ID. But many people don't understand that's only for federal employees and contractors. And everybody's running out to get this digital ID, not understanding that. You yourself, if you are not a federal employee or have a direct contract with the federal government, you are not required.
I'm sorry to detract from that for just a second. Ben was just talking about government and the consequences of what happens when people don't stand up to government. And I just want to point out, all governments do this. This is the problem of government throughout time. All forms of government throughout time is that their job is to control us in whatever means they can. That is just the nature of the way things work. Sometimes they're going to lead us in directions that we agree with, that are for our better good, and sometimes they're not. And it's up to us to be responsible and keep up on things and make sure that we are doing what we believe in our hearts is right, because all we can control is what we can control, which is typically just our own lives. But you can control your city council. You can probably control your county government, maybe a little bit. But these big government people, they're not for you. They are absolutely not for you. And more than likely, your local government really isn't for you either.
Nope, not at all. We just went over. We just
that's
had
the nature of government.
We had a new mayor brought in here locally. And one of the first things he did was move the public comment section from the beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting after they did the vote. So your comments mean nothing when it comes to the vote. And then when people started speaking out on it, they turned around and adjourned the meeting again and then started talking about just doing away with public commentary during city council.
Yikes.
Yeah. And that's with a guy like me that goes in and I am the bad guy. And I go to these city council meetings and I go to court and I wear this short mustache. And I let them know, last I knew, we don't allow Hitler's willing executioners in our buildings. They don't like it. I don't give a rat's ass.
This is one of the things I very much agree with Brick on, that the protest is basically useless without the actually going in and filing paperwork against the government to make the actual changes in the court.
Yeah, I don't go out and protest. You do not have the right to protest. You have the right to peaceably assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances.
Yeah. Clay ain't wrong about that at all.
Ben, check the back chat. Well, all I'm saying is everybody has the right to voice their opinion. The violence is, and I'll say it again, the violence is what is where I would draw the line. And I'm talking about throwing stones and bricks and, just being just riotous mob mentality behavior. So, I mean, it just goes to show you the way the world is.
But again, when we look at the Occupy Wall Street protests, those kids sat on their hands and peacefully and used zero violence. And the answer to that was spray giant cans of pepper spray in their face, one after another. There's a video you can go find of a cop walking by a line of them and just every fucking one of them just hosing it in their face as those kids sat there. So
I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. That is just, in my opinion, abuse of authority.
Yes.
But it's the law.
So wait a minute, Cam. Wait. You're saying it's the law for that officer to go by with people sitting on their hands doing really nothing and just spraying them in the face? That's the most asinine thing I think I've ever heard you say.
I think he was being what's the word, like
sarcastic, facetious,
sarcastic. I couldn't tell though. I don't really know Cameron, so I don't know his political views like that. People have said wilder shit.
Oh, I know people have said some wild shit, but I mean, that's just crazy to think that somebody would even make that comment. And it's not the law.
Well,
I
think
mean,
he
why
might
weren't
be.
they punished then?
What?
Why weren't the cops punished then? And if it was against the law, then they broke the law. Why were the cops not
But
punished?
those officers weren't punished.
Well, this is something that Balder brought up before a couple of weeks ago. We were on a panel that what's it called? Diplomatic immunity for cops. That needs to be fucking gone
No,
away.
it's
Called qualified immunity.
qualified immunity.
Diplomatic immunity is for a motherfucker from overseas, right? Okay, I know.
Yeah.
I know I was fucking that up. Yeah, that, and if the cops do fuck up, the cost damages. Most of the time, it's taken out of taxpayer money. Take it out of their fucking pension, and I bet they'll strain up real fucking quick.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm for the police, but I can criticize them on the shit that they be doing.
Well, anybody can criticize what the police are doing.
True, but most liberals will say defund the fucking police.
Okay.
I don't think most. I think that definitely was a group, very misinformed group. But I don't think that was the majority. I think the majority, most people like being able to call cops and have cops deal with their problem.
You're right, Balder. And I'll say this real quick. I actually have one biased view, and it is against liberals. I treat all liberals, especially far left liberals, the same. It's a flaw in me, but man, the far left liberals have just put a nasty fucking taste in my mouth. And no matter how much fucking beer I drink, I can't get it out.
Yeah, no, they're crazy for sure, but this is part of why they're the only ones that are put out on the media. So you got to understand that the media is the propaganda wing of the government. And fucking, so you get these far leftists that are just absolutely crazy, but how many of them do you know?
Personally, I actually know two. And without really telling the stories.
You see what I'm saying? What now? How big is that percentage of the people in your life?
0.00001% probably.
Right. So
well,
why is it
the people I know? It's probably 0.2%, but in the whole United States, it's like 10 zeros 1.
100% over the United States. You can get together groups of these people that's fairly large, but you can get a fairly large group of people who fucking think Elf was an actual alien that was fucking that, you know, like you can get a large over the whole 380 million people in this country. You can get some wildly, dude, you know, out of 380 million people, what would that be? 10 million per 300 or 100. So 30 million, 38 million people, give or take, believe chocolate milk came from brown cows.
That's fucking wild.
That's fucking wild. But you wouldn't put those people on TV and expect that they represent the general populace, right?
True. No. Yeah. No.
But this is what media is doing. Is the people that are the wildest and stupidest on the far right, they splash everywhere. The wildest and stupid people on the far left, they splash everywhere. I've never personally seen a tranny reading hour where some guy dressed up as a fucking stripper is trying to read books to a little kids with his junk hanging out. I've never seen it.
Boulder.
I've also never seen a KKK rally.
So I actually seen that. Somebody tried to involve my fucking kids in exactly what you just explained. And yeah, and I wasn't going for that. That's all I can say on that subject. And I was fucking bewildered too, because they did not strike me as that type of person. But hell fucking no. They try to invite my kids to that situation that you just explained. Nah, fuck out of here with that nonsense. I understand, again, a very small percentage, but I also live in Jersey.
That shit happened in like 5 different places in the whole country. Minuscule. Also, have you been to a KKK rally? Is the KKK wandering around your neighborhood causing problems?
No, but there are some racist cities in Jersey.
Right. There are a couple people, But is this an overwhelming problem, or is the media focusing on the craziest fucks around?
The craziest fucks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't look. I'm not disagreeing with anything anybody's saying. It just makes you wonder what is the government going to get away with next?
Yep. And it's going to be bad because they've got people down to like, what is it? Like a 15-second attention span?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
we got
Walter,
the
what you
attention
said?
span of fucking Dory from fucking Saving Nemo as a populace at this point, or Finding Nemo. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but I was just joking. I asked, "What did you say?" But I was implying.
So
that
did my wife. That's why I didn't hear you. Oh, that's hilarious.
It just goes to show you that the government is what the government is. And how does one stop it?
Well, the first way is that we start having these conversations and we start realizing we got to break down the wedge politics. We got to understand that it's okay for these other people to want this ICE not to be doing the shit that they're doing. That's okay. And that's their right.
Right.
What we need to do is find the common grounds, because this is what the government doesn't fucking want us to do. We find the common grounds of the standards that we as a people want to live by, and we force the government to conform around that.
Well, I don't disagree with that either.
If you fucking do a single thing as a politician against the Constitution, you're gone forever. We never let you have leadership in this country again. That should automatically disqualify you.
I got to ask though, Balderson, how does that look in action when we literally have 100% of the people in offices that are incompetent?
I 100% agree with that. The second thing after we get together is we need to examine the Republican National Convention and the fucking DNC, and we need to look at the things that those two groups have done and then come together as a decision and say, we're done with you two fucks. We're done with you two. We're done with picking the lesser of two evils. There is good, upstanding, intelligent people in this country that could be leading, and you fuckers aren't it.
Bingo. And that's what I'm talking about. How does that look in action? It's gonna take normal, everyday people stepping up to the plate and putting that burden on their own shoulders.
And Cameron, also, we've done that twice in history. We fought the British for the better good, and we fought the South for the better good. We can accomplish that, but not when we're divided. That's why I said before, both parties divide.
The Civil War was literally us being divided.
Yeah, that's no.
Okay,
yeah.
We didn't team up to fight the greater good. We were just like, we're fighting each other now because of slavery.
Well, okay, so in a way you're right. So that's kind of a bad example.
It was more industrialization pushing it and pushing out slavery, or that old version of slavery.
Well, the Civil War, it was obviously about the division. Most of it was about division with some other shit, but ultimately, most half of the people came together and they fought the South. We did. But again, it was kind of divided. The reason for the war, so I won't use that. But the Revolutionary War is a perfect example of how collectively, besides it's a fucking loyalist.
That's an even worse example, respectively. Actually, it started out very, very small. People hated it, especially the business owners, actually, because they were very connected to Britain.
But
So
that
people
is
hated it because
actually
it was
that
just
actually
legal.
makes it the perfect example, though, Cameron, because
Yeah.
this is what we're saying when this is what protests and things are doing. Because all these movements start out very small. Some of them take fucking
Absolutely.
like the women's rights movement. Most people don't realize that started in the mid to late 1800s, and it was primarily Jewish women. And it took them 100 years. And I'm not even agreeing with that movement. I'm saying that movement, it took fucking 150 years to come to fruition. 150 years. And
I agree that a bunch of people, like, I agree on your point. What I was saying was that we were not united around this idea of
Well,
American
hold up,
independence.
Cameron.
Not
I
even
gotta ask you a
50% of
question.
America thought it was a good idea.
Who governed us during the colonies? Who
It
governed
was
us?
Britain, but
Okay,
si-
so
but
we,
55%
as the
of
people,
people
came
wanted it,
together
but Britain-
and fought the fucking government and reestablished ourselves as our own independent country, the United States of America.
Yes, and I'm saying not even that was collectively supported by the majority
Yeah,
of the people
yeah,
in the
but-
population.
But from the fucking look, well, I mean,
Well,
it's
it
still,
it was
like,
supported by the collective majority. It just wasn't
Yeah.
supported by the business owners who were the ones that were going to lose money out of the deal because their trade was going to get stifled.
I
So
don't
the
think
more
Cameron is understanding what we're saying. We're talking about fighting the government. We're not talking
No,
about.
I know, and I support that. Go fight the fucking
So
government.
how you
Fuck
gonna
them.
say fighting the British isn't the same as we as the people?
No, I'm saying it was unpopular even to the fucking end of it. Like it was,
Well, all
it wasn't
fucking revolutions
unpopular.
at the time, I
but-
believe, are unpopular because it creates fucking bloodshed.
Yeah, but not half of the population being like, yeah, actually we want to stay with Britain, or more than half actually, because it was 40 to 45% supported it
No.
at the
Are
very
you
end.
counting the actual British military as half of the country? Because you
No.
can't fucking do that.
No, I'm counting
Because the
American
loyalists were not
colonists.
half of the fucking country.
I'm saying the
You know what the
American
loyalists
colonists.
were, right?
The loyalists was still American colonists.
Yeah, I read a
And
lot about the Revolutionary War, bro. It wasn't
Oh,
half
alright.
the country that stayed loyal to the fucking British Empire.
Meaning, well, more than half. Meaning they didn't support the revolution. There you go. The majority didn't.
No,
And I will insert here.
bro, I can't take you
Yeah.
seriously because you tried to claim Biden and Kamala Harris didn't say they wanted to take away our first. and
They
second
literally
amendments.
didn't.
They literally did.
historians, I looked this up. Historians estimate that about 15% to 20% of the white colonial population actively opposed the American Revolution, remaining loyal
Boom.
to the
That's
British
not
crown.
half the fucking population. Sorry to cut you off, Balder, but the dude thinking he knows something when he doesn't, bro.
Historians estimate that no more than 40 to 45% of American colonists actively supported the revolution, with the rest either not supporting it or not caring at all. There you go.
Oh yeah, typically any revolution or anything like that, the active participants is 5% of the country or less. You have a chunk that supported, a chunk that don't, and a chunk that just don't give a fuck and they just want to go to work, get their fucking supper, go home, get a blowjob, and go to bed.
And I'll insert here the
Well,
epitome.
look, at the end of the
And
day,
I'll-
what happened at the Revolutionary War? We defeated the British because enough people came together. So enough people can come together today and, like the example I gave, fight these fucking taxes that are eating our ass.
And
Yeah.
I'll insert here that the epitome of the First Amendment that we're all speaking on here is rest in peace, Paul Revere. That's the epitome. He had a duty to let the other people know. He didn't have so much of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, which is a great right. But again, exponentially, it is a greater right for the other people to know. When they start stifling one voice, they plug all kinds of ears.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I'm just sitting here saying, should we agree with all the violent tactics of these groups? Should we?
No.
Sun
Nope.
Tzu in The Art of War. to defeat one's opponent without fighting is of supreme excellence. And every military around the world agrees.
That's where it goes from.
But again, this is where the entire show started. Was that gentleman representative of the left?
No.
No.
Well, we don't know.
Well, because the left isn't a monolith.
When you look at him, look at the way he speaks. Is that dude? Can you compare him to the fucking, what's the chick's name that got killed?
Freddie?
Good.
That Rachel, can you compare the two even remotely? Like the one I would find annoying and be like, lady, you talk too fucking much. Get away from me. That dude was seriously scary and nothing like any of the fucking political protesters I've ever seen.
If you were to walk down your neighborhood, I'm sure that there are some liberals there. Do you think that if you were to walk in their houses, they are him? Do you think he represents the majority of the liberal people in your life that you know? Not even close.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I said, like, neither side are a monolith. That's why no one can, like, perfectly encapsulate what one side wants or what the other side wants or whatever, you know? They're not monoliths, like, not singular pieces of thought. Even like how the left wants like a collective or whatever, it's still not a monolith of thought on what that collective would be surrounded by on certain parts. You know, there's like parts where it's like, oh, well, we got to defend life, I guess.
Well, I mean, do we want all of the tension, all of the bullshit that is going on in the country? The answer is no.
That's
No,
the
answer-
absolutely not.
What we want is the country to function right.
What we really want is
want-
the country to function right. We don't want the bullshit the government's doing to us either is the problem.
Okay. I can get with that.
Like certainly 95% of the people in the country want to go to work, make some money, enough money to fucking get themselves some extra nicey things, go home, get a BJ, eat some supper and go to bed and be able to reliably do that every day and not fear for their lives, whether from starvation or abuse or whatever. That's what most people want, period.
Okay. I can
I
get with
love
that.
those material conditions. I think everyone on Earth should have those.
Which is why the bread and circuses come.
Which is why the bread and circuses thing becomes a thing. This is the thing that we see at the fall of every empire, where they start giving people these shit and things that make them overlook that their life is crap, that their entire system is falling apart around them, that the people running the show are horribly corrupt and ruining their lives. And so then they give them the bread and circuses, the Roman Colosseum, you know?
Sure.
Because weirdly, people can be entertained out of caring about their fucking freedom.
And I hope it goes beyond saying and having to draw the parallel, but the bread and circuses, the circus is literally the WWE on the White House lawn. That is the epitome of the circus in bread and circuses.
That was a damn fine circus too.
Well,
It
I would
was.
say the motorcycles too. Like doing the flips and shit. Sorry, on the White House lawn.
We didn't see that part, but either way, it was a fantastic circus.
Can I send
It
you
really
like a
was.
clip of it?
Well, I think Balder, forgive me if you already made this point, but it literally came out of straight out of the Roman Empire when several Romans realized they were fucking up and the people started hating them. So they're like, you know what? Let's have some people fight in the
Colosseum.
yeah.
The Colosseum.
It gets their fighting frustrations out without having to actually make
Yep.
them fight.
They basically take on the identity of whatever fighter, like on the UFC night. You know, we're all American. We got to go for Gaethje. He's a good old American boy. Look at him. He looks like your fucking neighbor. He looks like the kid you want to marry your mom. And fucking Oh, he's going against a dirty foreigner. We all get together. Everybody identifies with Justin Gaethje. They identify with being against the other guy, and our guy won. We're united.
I will say one thing though. Ilya was higher to win. It was like 80% to like 20%. I only know because my little brother loves UFC. I'm sorry.
And Ant, I agree. And right now, this is the American public criticizing the bread and circuses.
Oh, I sent a link to the bikes if you wanted to see it. And here's one from the.
I was literally just getting ready to ask why you're not up here. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Boulder. I thought you were tripping. I was like, bro, he ain't up here. Who are you talking to?
Yeah, I was going to come up because that bread and circus thing gets thrown around a lot. I don't think most people understand where it came from. It was Juvenal, satirical Roman. He was criticizing the Roman people. He wasn't criticizing government. The people have abdicated our duties for people who once upon a time handed out military command, high civil office, legions, everything, now restrains itself and anxiously hopes for just two things: bread and circuses.
Yes. And I just got done saying that the American people will give up their freedom for bread and circuses. Their liberty it's okay as long as they stay entertained. It's okay.
That's because they don't understand. That's because they don't understand their civilian authority. You actually have civilian authority over the military, folks.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Well, there's no such thing as civilian authority over the military.
Oh, really? What is selective service? What is selective
Abandoning
service?
the civic duties and giving up their political power.
The military falls under one
Is what
commander,
bread and
that
circus
is
is meant by
the President of the
Duval.
United States.
So it is political. It's about the government.
Absolutely.
But I would say that it's not that people are giving it up for the bread. They do it without realizing it, right? They've been given all these distractions. They've been given all these things they think are keeping them informed, but they're actually just keeping them away from what's going on, with the things they don't want you to know that it's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that comfort is such a wicked strong weapon that even what was it, King Philip? It was King Philip that built Versailles, and King Philip had basically no power unto himself when he started, and he bathed the royalty, the other royalty, with comfort to the point where they wouldn't fight back, and this is how he got and maintained power by flooding them with such luxury that they wouldn't fight.
Flood me with some luxury. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, Versailles, they also forgot the toilets, so you had to,
Are you talking about the Palace of Versailles?
Yeah, because originally I think it's King Philip. He's the one
King
who
Louis.
yeah, it might have been Louis. Yeah, moved the basically capital to Versailles and went about making Versailles the most opulent, luxurious place that it could be. And then he brought all of his enemies to live in it. And once his enemies were living in this opulence and this luxury, they weren't plotting to overthrow him anymore. And then at some point, it even turned to they wanted to be his favorites and get the most opulence and whatnot. So now, rather than seeking to overthrow this king that originally started with almost no power unto himself and was going to be a puppet, was now getting people to fawn on him in order to receive more opulence and popularity.
Oh, guys! By the way, this I'm sure you all know, but the palace was so extravagant that it nearly bankrupted France.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even put toilets in.
But to be fair, like even just looking at photos of it, it is goddamn beautiful. Like I'll give him that.
Yeah. It was a brilliant plan, and it's a plan that I equate into the couch. The couch that I think that was in the 1800s.
Okay.
So it might have been late 17. I fucking watch and read too many fucking history things. It starts mushing together. But I equate that into the couch. the couch, and when Americans started being so comfortable, and the couch is part of that, where all you did was go home, sit on this big comfy couch, watch your TV, get your TV dinner, and you don't care about anything else. You're not willing to fight, and it's that comfort. That comfort takes the fighting spirit right out of a man.
He started it in 1661, by the way.
Well, that's why there's no toilets.
Off by a couple hundred years.
No,
No, there was toilets at the time. It wasn't running water toilets, but they literally didn't put any sewage system at all into that palace, and you had to leave the palace with your fucking with your shit and piss, literally, and leave the palace with it, take it out of the palace, and it caused all kinds of problems. It was hilarious.
I can understand why they overthrew the French monarchy, though. That stuff like that would piss me off.
Well, that's not why they overthrew him.
No, well, it was extravagance while they were living in pure poverty, and it was
actually kind of fake bullshit. This is why they overthrew it.
The French Revolution is a direct result of the American Revolution. Like
partly, yeah.
With people starving, and then people living in the lap of luxury. Like even modern sociologists say this. That is one of the driving factors of crime to them.
Poverty doesn't drive crime. Crime drives poverty.
No. Here's what they'll say. Will say. They would say that it's
the
not.
point of lowest poverty in the United States was during the Great Depression. It was also the point of lowest crime. I didn't say there was no crime. Lowest crime rates. Lowest crime rates.
Lowest crime rates? What are you?
Look it up.
Lowest crime rates, I bet, compared to today, but like.
Well, you're saying poverty drives crime. That was the point of this country's lowest poverty. So it should be the highest crime if they are a causal relationship.
Well, hold on. And our population was obviously much smaller.
Ben, I got to roll away a second. I'll be right back.
Population doesn't matter. If crime drives poverty, as he claims,
the proximity
then it doesn't matter what population he is. You would see a higher rate of crime with a higher rate of poverty, and we did not see that in the Great Depression.
I don't want to agree with Cameron on this because I think he's misinformed on a lot of shit. But there needs all right. So crime is, or I'm sorry, poverty is a leading factor to crime. That's why, like I'd say all the time, you look at all the cities with the most crimes. At one point in history, they were actually well off money wise because they were all industrial metropolitan areas, fucking oil works, whatever you want to call it. But then those factories shut down in those cities and they started becoming poverty ridden, and then crime started happening in those cities because motherfuckers still lived there and they needed bread. Another reason for crime is the immigrants, more specifically the Italian and Irish immigrants, had to resort to crime to feed their families coming over from America. So there is a correlation with crime and poverty, absolutely. And you can't say the Great Depression. I'm sorry, I don't want to straw man. Yeah, what did you say about the Great Depression?
During the Great Depression, poverty in the United States was at its highest, but violent crime and all that was at its lowest rates.
Okay, that's why.
According to AI, quick. I'm not getting involved in the argument, but according to AI, quick, poverty rate or crime rates actually did spike up, especially violent crime during the first part of the
property crimes.
Great Depression, and that with the Relief Act, that's what dropped crime. So it's saying that from 1930 to 33, there was a pretty severe spike in crime.
Also,
it was an initial increase followed by decreases.
Well, hold on. Also,
right, but then they're attributing the decreases to the Relief Act, is what the AI, anyways. And according to them, it's history.com. So I don't know how reliable that is.
How does that correlate to abolition, though?
20 years ago, it would have been very reliable, Balder, but I'm not so sure now.
Yeah. No, History Channel is fucking ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of History and Discovery. Then they started adding some bull. I just stopped fucking watching both those channels. But yeah, so population You know, I don't know the exact numbers. I can pull it up on my phone, but
Well,
we were we got what, like we got, fuck, I don't even know, like 300 million in America or something like that.
65 million? I'm not sure.
How much did we what was our population back during the Great Depression?
It was probably like 180.
So that's
doubled.
That's definitely going to influence the percentage of crime and poverty compared to now.
no, your percentages will stay the same. The raw numbers will change. They'll get bigger or smaller, depending on whether you're talking bigger or smaller populations.
It was 123 million. Sorry, Ant. I'm sorry, Ant.
Like I said,
a third of what we have today. A third.
It doesn't matter. Like we're
wasn't
talking about
I wasn't
populations.
making a point of it.
We're talking about like per capita, and we're talking about speaking for trends in populations, right? So the size of the population, not super significant. Like it can be factors for other things. I'm not trying to totally discount it, but what we're talking about, not really important. We're trying to determine whether poverty drives crime or crime drives poverty. I hold the position that crime drives poverty, not the other way around.
well, so that's almost like a paradox in and of itself. It's
Why?
Well, it's a which is causing which is what we're looking at.
Well, no, it's not
is what-
causing.
that's what
You're saying poverty is a crime?
No,
which
Well,
one
then they're
is
not,
leading
it's not
to
A equals A, right? They are different things. We understand that, right?
So what came first, poverty or that's what I mean by it's kind of like a paradox.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I imagine somebody probably snitched a grape from their cousin while they were out foraging long ago. It was probably like the first case of theft, but I
Yes.
can't answer that question.
Yeah, so I'm not sitting here and saying it's like the grandfather paradox, but it is in a way a paradox because there's no clear cut answer. What came, what came first, the chicken or the egg type deal? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's not a paradox. It's just how do I answer?
Well,
the
you
question?
yourself couldn't
Where do
answer
I get
that
the
question.
evidence from? It's probably not a falsifiable.
and
question.
I'm not even sure that they didn't exist independently of each other at the same time, because the world, I can't imagine that the world ever didn't have poverty or people that needed food, and the world didn't ever have people willing to take shit from other people.
True.
That,
Poverty is very subjective.
yeah. And according to this, large and more densely populated societies do not inherently have more crime.
No,
The number of crimes scale up, but again, like Ant was just saying, per capita, it balances out. So you're not getting inherently more crime just because there's more people.
yeah, you should. If something is true, like in that kind of axiom, right? You should see it hold true, whether it's a small population or a large population. Shouldn't matter if we're talking about 10,000 people or 10 million. Like that trend should hold true. It might not be precisely on the same exact line, but it'll be really close.
Mhm.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It might even seem more severe in the larger groups just because those people are going to group together and possibly cause more visual problems than in the smaller communities where there isn't such a large group of them doing it, but the numbers still pan out the same.
I still think that one of the big things that would help out a lot right away, and it would be really simple to implement, is just have all criminal records. What's the term for it when you hide it from? What's that?
Sealed.
Expunged.
Not expunged because you
Sealed.
committed the crime.
Sealed.
Sealed. Yes. I don't think it should
Oh,
just be
you're
really,
coming
really
at
looked
us
at.
with the effigy argument? Oh my god!
Well, hey, look, effigy and I might agree on some things that are once in a while. Broken clocks right twice a day. Look,
Dude, there was like a
I-
2-week period. I was on the same side of the debate as effigy every time for like 2 weeks. I was like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Hey, look,
if he said that, I agree with him. I think that if we seal, like, if you can't just immediately demonize someone by looking up their record, they'll have better outcomes. I think that if you need to see the record, then you should go to the court and ask to see it, and you have a good purpose to do so. I'm tired of penalizing people who serve their time and pay their dues to society. I don't like that it continues
Depending
past
on the crime,
their
right?
incarceration. What?
Depending on the crime, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to, but I'd
Well,
argue that if we have to
post-amnesty-
keep, I would argue if we have to keep track of you for the rest of your life, why are we letting you out of fucking prison?
I agree.
Bingo. Bingo.
True. No, but so there's a lot of nuance to that. But I just want to state real quick, because it seems like we're diving into a subtopic. I'm not saying poverty is the only reason for crime or the leading cause for crime. I'm saying it's one of the leading cause for crime. That's where I stand with that. Like, and there's tons of evidence to support that. Like I mentioned,
There's a lot to actually support that the other position too. Probably more.
Also, my original claim was that the proximity of poverty to wealth is a strong driver of crime, because it is. Meaning I'm poor, right?
Right.
I'm not saying I'm gonna do
So
something.
am I, and I don't feel compelled to take
No.
things from
But-
people
But
or hurt them
dumber
or
people
do
will.
bad things.
Respectfully, dumber people will. They'll be like, "Well, I don't have enough. I don't have the same, or even close to the same as the rich guy in a mansion next door. I know there wouldn't be a mansion next door,
The
but
bigotry of low expectations.
Well,
yeah.
They're poor, so can't trust them. They might see you have something nice and want to take it from you because they're dumb.
No, I mean,
Come
it's a
on.
documented fact. I can send you links.
Well, I think most.
I mean, I
violent
guess in
crime-
my life experience, it's honestly been the opposite. And the person I expect to rip me off is usually the person that's got more wealth. And typically, most of the poor people I know, tweakers being the exception. But most of your poor people around here, they're the ones that are going to give you you need something, they'll give it right off their back.
That's not what I was saying. I was just saying, like, for people that do commit crime, being close to really rich people while you're really poor will increase your chance of committing crime. Like, statistically, your
You're
chance
saying
of
a wealth disparity in their very personal neighborhood.
in
Well,
their
look, I
personal neighborhoods. Yes.
I think
I
if we
see.
all just blame the Jews, we can come to an agreement on this. Just blame the
I
Jews.
don't support blaming any specific group. I
I blame the elite.
characterizing entire groups like that.
No,
I
I'm
blame
joking.
Dylan.
Man. I'm joking. Look, you know, I
I know.
Jews
I know. I
yeah,
haven't woke up yet. I'm sorry. I need to make my coffee.
yeah, man. Caffeine's the way to go, brother. I drink Monster's Pipeline Punch all day long.
I don't do Monster anymore. I did that a lot when I was in the military. One, I don't like the
Oh shit, you
basic
served?
Monster formula. Yeah, I was in the Army I served active duty from 2007 to 2014. Got out, transferred to reserve, so I did that for another 6 years.
Well, thank you for your service. Yeah, I would have served, but I got hit by a car like 2 months before I got all my papers, and now I can't really run right. One of the reasons, Boulder, when we watched that match, I mentioned how I used to do boxing years ago. That's one of the reasons why I don't do that shit no more. Because getting hit by that car fucked my whole life up. I mean, hey, I wouldn't have had my 3 kids, though. If I would have joined the military, I wouldn't have my 3 beautiful kids. So at the end of the day, I'm glad the motherfucker hit me. I got a nice little family.
You probably still have 3 kids. They'd just be in different countries.
Oh dear God.
Oh, I did want to say though, Kraut, be careful, because I know this is just like random, but my mom's friend, not my mom's friend, my friend's mom, she used to chug Monsters and smoke cigarettes, and it made I forgot what it did especially, but it was so bad for her, it made a hole in her heart.
No, I
Like,
got
it
you.
was-
So I actually stopped smoking. I'm on my 7th day now, but I definitely got it cut out the caffeine. But anytime I go to a hospital visit to get checked out or whatever, my heart and oxygen levels are always clean. There's nothing ever wrong with me.
No, I know. I was just
My
saying-
job is very active, so I think that if I was
Actually-
at a computer all day, doing insurance claims or some bullshit like that, I'd probably be fucking dead by now. But because my life has always been very physically demanded, I think that fucking is basically saving my fucking life and counterbalancing whatever fucking shit I did in the past, like smoking cigarettes or consuming all the fucking caffeine I drink.
I mean, I will give you that when I was in the Army myself, that was the worst I ever ate. Like, it didn't matter what you shoved in your mouth, you just ate it. And fucking, you worked out. Like, I was in the Army in the fucking 92, to 98. And fucking when you're out there running and doing push-ups all damn day, it don't matter what you eat. That just it don't seem to.
Yeah, and thank you for your service, Balderson. I think you mentioned you were in the military before, but clear example.
I was just a mechanic. Fucking Ant was a gun bunny. He got the.
Because I actually guessed what you went into the military for. I remember that. I think that was during the fight. Yeah, I guess mechanic, and my second was going to be chef. But I'll give an example on what me and Boulder are saying. Gatorade. A lot of athletes drink Gatorade, but if you're not active and you're drinking that shit, you're going to have a really big fucking problem. I forget if it raises your, I think it raises your blood pressure very fucking high. But the athletes, when they drink it, they actually sweat that shit out, so it doesn't cause them any problems.
She sleep all day.
The only thing I stopped drinking is green tea, man, because I don't want fucking kidney stones. I believe it's either green tea or black tea that can give you kidney stones if you drink too much of it.
Tea period will give you kidney stones if you drink too much of it. Leafy greens also, it's the oxalic acids.
Yeah, I used to drink Arizona
oxalic acid binds to calcium, and that's what causes your stones.
It's all Ben's fault. Oh shit, yo, Spin's going hard in the comments. He said it's all Ben's fault, prick.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not wrong.
All right, so what were we talking about? We were talking about how crime and poverty correlates, and then we kind of got on a different subject. Does anybody know?
I don't know. Bring up a new topic, someone.
Well, I think we've hit this topic. We've got some other things. Ben has to get some work done on the farm, and I've got to go to work for the next couple hours. Well, not go. I got to sit here and watch something stupid. So I think we're going to end the stream. I'm going to send everybody over to America Rising Media over on Pilled. Also, I'm going to send everybody to America Rising Media over on Rumble. And we're going to end. We will be back this evening. Mr. Benjamin Balderson will be over on Uncle Ted's Talks tonight. Yes, and I believe Sarah
Tomato has a panel. Yeah.
What are you guys going to be doing?
We'll have a panel tonight. I think it's the Paul.
No, tonight I do believe is
it's the AI educator debate that got moved. That was supposed to be last week.
AI replace teachers, I believe, is what it is.
Yeah.
Tony Coriolis sends in the Big Ten with nothing to say, but he is a stud.
Thanks for having me up, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming up, Harold.
Hey, Cameron, real quick before you leave or before the Spin shuts down the panel, actually really dig into deep about what Biden and Harris said about our First and Second Amendments. You'd be surprised at what they said.
All I could find is that they did want to restrict, like put a ban, not a ban, but like it was something that made an assault rifle even worse. Yeah. It was a stop ban.
So
no, that was Biden's ATF out of hand, because the thing is the Senate makes the rules and then the ATF is supposed to enforce them. So the ATF went and made bump stocks, or not bump stocks. It's the one that stabilizes a pistol onto your hand.
Braces.
Pistol braces. They went and made arbitrarily decided pistol braces were federally illegal. The Senate didn't fucking decide that.
It wasn't. Well, it was.
The Biden
an arbitrary. It was.
That.
But it was from themselves. Like there was no governing agency that said this isn't okay, because they're not supposed to be making up rules. They've been allowed to do so because of Chevron deference, but they shouldn't be making rules.
Right. Well, that's why they had a whole Senate hearing about it. In the Senate hearing, they told the head of the ATF, they're like, you don't make rules. We do. Yeah. You carry out what we made as a rule. And so the whole bump stock turned a whole bunch of Americans that owned them into felons, overnight. And it was something that the government didn't do. It was Biden's ATF that went out of pocket and did that shit.
Yeah, that's the pistol brace. Bump stocks was Trump. That was after the Vegas shooting.
Pistol braces.
No, I'm sorry. I said bump stocks. I just said that because I'm not too knowledgeable about that attachment.
Yeah, no, this was a
fine.
brace that they said it stabilizes the pistol in your hand. And they basically said that turned a pistol into an assault rifle because now you have a semi-automatic pistol that you can use like a rifle is basically what they were saying.
No, turned it into a short-barreled rifle.
Short-barreled rifle. Yep, that was the terminology. Yeah.
Not the same thing as a machine gun. In fact, short-barrel rifles aren't even illegal necessarily.
No, they just suck.
No, it depends on the cartridge. How much barrel do you need for a 9mm or 45 ACP?
Well, I would never use a 9mm rifle, anyways. I mean,
but that's what the pistol braces are for.
I understand what's getting said.
Or turning like a 223 pistol into something you can.
I'm just laughing at it because you can't really turn a pistol into a fucking rifle. Like fucking my 308, I can hit something a mile away. Yeah, accurately.
I mean, rifles isn't always about range. Rifle's more of a form than it is a set of specifications. But you're right. Like typical rifle rounds going to reach out and get you.
Yeah,
but remember the original muskets were rifles, but their range was fucking horrible.
Which seems to totally defeat the whole fucking mid-range weapon. Like if you give me a mid-range weapon, I want to be away from them dudes that can touch me.
Well, you substitute quality of fire with quantity of fire. It works out.
Yeah.
Actually,
but funny enough, we still today use the fucking bayonets, because at the end of the day, you get too damn close and things get funky.
I mean, they have them. I was never issued one. I mean, we had fucking crates full of damn things.
Oh wow,
still their sheaths and everything. They never got issued because we never were using them. We didn't even train with them.
Wait.
We did back in the 90s.
I trained in basic. Everybody does that bit, but after basic training AIT, never touched a bayonet. Well, except to clean it or to count it.
Yes. Always clean it and count it.
Yeah.
As a mechanic, we had this little mat that we laid out, and we had to put our tools on specific spots in the specific on the mat and everything. So annoying.
Was it for layouts or is that for doing any job?
For doing inventory and shit, and that way they could walk by and everything.
That's what layouts is. The inventory. When I was in they changed it to calling it layouts. You probably called it inventory.
Yeah,
I think Spin wants to close the panel, or
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said my fault in the back jack Spin.
For everybody going over to Sarah Tomato, which hers will be an open panel. Have a good time, guys. TED Talks is a closed panel, so if you come over and watch, we'd love to see you guys. If not, have fun at Sarah Tomato.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Alrighty, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Everybody on the panel, stay in the back for just a few minutes. After the outro and it goes off, we'll say our goodbyes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as I say most of the time, until later, America, we will see you then.
Spin City. Spin City on the screen, got the room on 10. Breaking news, panel smoke, then he does it again. The bass in the morning, debauchery at night. He steps in loud and he don't back right. Clip it, post it, watch the chat explode. One more take, then he takes the road. He talks that talk with a grin and a stare. The other side's talking, he already there. Hold up, here he comes. Hands in the air, let the verdict come. No more hush, no more shade. Spin City live and the whole place sways. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, shaking up the scene. Panels in a circle, everybody wants a turn. He leans in hard, let the hot takes burn. Protest on the ticker, riot in the thread. He talks over the chaos with a raised up head. Yell a little louder, make the point land clean. Cut through the noise like a headline machine. If they come for the room, he comes right back. One Likes get hot and the comments fly. He laughs at the noise and he calls it live. One more